Hey, so you're thinking about moving to Seattle, Washington, or you want to relocate due to work or family, and you don't know what's good about Seattle? Well, in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the top 15 reasons to love living in Seattle, Washington, and what sets us apart from the rest of the country, from the opinion of a longtime resident and local realtor. If that sounds good to you, then let's get right into it. So number one, the natural beauty in Seattle is unmatched. Seattle is in a beautiful non-landlocked state along the Pacific Ocean. So you have the ocean a couple hours away if big, vast ocean views, breeze, and waves are your thing. And you also have two major mountain ranges, like bookends of the whole Seattle metropolitan area, being the Cascade Mountains to the east and the Olympic Mountains to the west. In addition to that, you've got a green landscape of evergreen trees everywhere you look, and several well-known lakes right in town, including beautiful Lake Union, right downtown in front of the famous Space Needle. You've got Green Lake on the northern side of Seattle, surrounded by residential neighborhoods, walking paths, and parks. And you've got Lake Washington, which separates Seattle from Bellevue, where Mercer Island resides, a stunning small residential town planted in the middle. There are also beautiful parks in the city that have gorgeous walking paths, gardens, play spaces, and sports fields, and provide picturesque photo backgrounds like Seward Park, Madison Park, or the Arboretum. And only about 10 miles to the east, you have 7-mile-long Lake Sammamish, a residential recreation playground and an aesthetic retreat for towns like Issaquah, Sammamish, Redmond, and Bellevue, which are the suburbs that surround it. And it also has a path all the way around the lake, so you can bike, jet ski in the water. It's great for boating, paddleboarding, and has really great easy beach access. Only about 45 minutes to the east of Seattle, you've got North Bend and Snoqualmie, which is going to be home to beautiful river rafting, Snoqualmie Falls, and plenty of mountains to ski and snowboard in the winter months, and hike and sightsee in the summer months. My number two reason that Seattle's awesome is there is tons of entertainment right in the city. So whether you're interested in professional sports, fine dining along the waterfront, or rooftop bar and lounging, or maybe fun at the Space Needle or the Great Wheel, Seattle has options for fun. You may check out a private hot tub ride on Lake Union, or maybe an electric boat ride there. You can even hop on a small plane or helicopter at Kenmore Air and overlook the city for a small fee. There's just so much fun like that to be had in Seattle. So festivals and community events can be found nearly every weekend, and there are tons of lakes to ski, swim, or kayak on, or just boat. You got dinner cruises to dine on, and even adult entertainment, museums, art galleries, breweries, wineries. I mean, we could be here all day, honestly. You can catch a fish at Pike Place Market, go to the various farmers markets, enjoy some history at Gasworks Park, rent a lime scooter along the waterfront, or view the sculptures at the historic Sculpture Park. Why not catch a live jazz show on Jazz Alley, take a group painting class, or bike around Green Lake and hit up Duke's Chowder House? So, like I said, Seattle's the hub for entertainment in the PNW, Pacific Northwest. So whether you live in the city or close by, entertainment is in your back pocket, and it is extensive. Number three reason is there is an incredible spread of professional sports teams. So there's a surprising number of major cities in the United States that don't have any major sports teams. You might be from one of them, but Seattle has tons of them, pointing to some of the fun that can be had in Seattle, plus watching it at home, and the values that Seattleites hold true. The Seattle Seahawks is our national football team, while the Mariners, who are starting to have their comeback era, are our national baseball team. We've got professional men's and women's soccer teams, so that's the men's Seattle Sounders and the women's Seattle Reign. And although we have not secured our men's national basketball team in a few years, we do have the Seattle Storm on the women's side, and we're hoping to get the men's basketball team back. Supersonics, come back, please. Finally, within the last couple of years, we've got a national hockey team. They're called the Seattle Kraken, and all these teams have their own incredible sports facilities, which are super fun for both sports and major concerts that come into the city. Think Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran. You catch my drift. Number four, and I really like this one, there is no pressure to get Botox or wear heels when you go out to dinner in Seattle. No, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your face. Everyone's got to do what they got to do to feel good. But I'm just going to say that there's not much general pressure if you're living in Seattle to uphold some type of Hollywood type, plastic standard. There just isn't. And no harm if that's your jam either, do you, boo. But anywhere you turn in Seattle, whether you're going out to dinner, drinks, having coffee with your friends, you got people rocking in all types of styles. They might be done up to the nines, but they also could be in a North Face, zip up, jeans, and Birkenstocks. And people wouldn't even bat an eye. They might even be on a first date. That's just the sort of Northwest vibe, and I love it because it really just lets people do their own thing and not feel like they have to look a certain way or, have to have certain clothing to be considered relevant and stylish. Number 5, Seattle is made up of diverse cultures, and it's not only accepted, but openly welcomed. Although Seattle is still predominantly white, it is still a diverse city compared to cities like Memphis, Tennessee, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and even Portland, Oregon, just south of Seattle, Washington. And schools here are known for being diverse as well, especially in the public school system around Seattle and the neighboring suburbs. Educators from various races are highly encouraged to help represent the communities inside of the schools, so many school districts are actively scoping the country, literally, for Black, Brown, and Asian educators to help build connections and foster community by looking like their community with our ever-increasing diverse schools. Locals here share these values surrounding cultural diversity and acceptance, so it's just part of life here and helps limit stereotypes and acts of racism and promotes intercultural relations. No town is perfect, but Seattle is seriously striving towards it in this category. To break it down for you right now, the stats are about 62% white, 16% Asian, 7% are mixed, 7% are Black, and 3% are Hispanic. Number 6, Seattle is an area that cares about the environment and sustainability. One stereotype of Seattle is that we love to recycle and reuse, and it really is true. Many people not only carefully recycle their things, but they also have compost bins at their houses. Now, not everyone, but a lot of people know the value of protecting our planet at the local level. Seattle believes that we can do our part to make this planet a little bit better. But not everyone is as extreme as you might think, given the stereotypes. It's not like people pull you over if you throw a plastic water bottle into the trash can. But yes, most people do own a reusable water bottle. Lots of folks also own electric or hybrid cars to try to reduce the consumption of fossil fuels and pollution into the air, but not everyone. Number 7, Seattle welcomes personal and family diversity. Capitol Hill is sort of the quintessential gay-friendly neighborhood in Seattle, but anywhere around the city, including the suburbs and the smaller communities around downtown, you can be an LGBTQ plus family and no one's really gonna give a shit. Okay, people sort of just operate around here like if you're a good person and you're not a jerk, no one really cares what your family looks like behind closed doors. Whether that means you've got 2 parents at home that are the same gender, you've got 1 parent household, or you're adopting or fostering kids or anything else, people just don't really get into other people's business or judge you for it either. Of course, there's going to be exceptions to this rule, as nothing is ever finite, but you're definitely going to see this trend throughout the city and many of the suburbs around Seattle. Call it progressive if you need to, whatever you want, but people just tend to stay in their own lane and mind their own business and figure that you are doing the same. To each their own is highly valued here. I also want to add that that doesn't mean Seattle doesn't have a huge population of churchgoers. Religion is valued by many Seattleites. Churches, mosques, temples, you name it. We just don't see it as church or acceptance of different people. It's a package deal around here, and I'm honestly here for it. Number 8. It is a coffee lover's paradise. You may not know that the original Starbucks started right here in Seattle. That, of course, totally blew up, and the headquarters are located downtown, but you've also got tons of other companies popping up as Seattle takes their coffee very seriously. We also have Tully's, Seattle's Best Coffee, Cafe Vita, and a myriad of other smaller cafes and drive-through coffee stands as well that have originated here in Seattle. Maybe keep the kids away from the bikini barista stands, though. So yeah, caffeine is readily available around town. You're not going to have to worry about that. Number 9. Seattle values its booze just as much as its fitness. This is what Seattleites would be considered balanced lifestyle. The city has more than 60 breweries and takes craft beer seriously, as well as cider too. There are several wineries sprinkled throughout the city, And then a miniature version of Seattle, sort of like Napa or Sonoma, located in Woodinville at those wineries just about 30 minutes northeast of Seattle. Coupled with this, there are several beer and wine festivals like the Fremont Oktoberfest right in the city. Side by side this fact, according to several different sources, Seattle is among the fittest cities in the country. We are ranked either second or third across the map. Seriously, check it out. And it's no surprise, there are gyms, yoga, cycling, and dance studios, plus running and biking clubs sprinkled throughout the city, and trails galore, which is a great way to avoid Seattle traffic, honestly. Every lake has a runnable or bikeable trail or road around it, and the paved walking and cycling trails and lanes in the city, making getting in your exercise a cinch. Head a little bit out of the city and you instantly hit outdoor trail hiking either at Mount Rainier National Park, just south of Seattle, or the Cascade Foothills in Issaquah, or just past it in North Bend, as you travel a few minutes further east. Number 10, you won't find many cookie cutter developments in the city. So dream up the property that you want, and it's yours. You can live in the bougie homes along the waterfront for up to $10 million, or you could find smaller single-family homes in the city or surrounding suburbs. It's really up to you. Want to live close to neighbors and feel that close sense of Seattle community? You can have it. Want apartments or condos with views and on-site amenities? There's tons of those too. You can live in an urban beach town that is West Seattle and play beach volleyball at Alki Beach, meet friends while dining along the serene waterfront across the bay from downtown. Or do you want a different Pacific Northwest vibe? A green and brown backyard, no neighbors close by, so filled with privacy, land, and space for all your outdoor toys and camping gear, all within a 25-minute drive of downtown. Go north, south, or east of the city, and that's available to you. You name the type of property and the nearby fun, and we can match it to your budget. And there are a lot of options for you in the area if you can afford the cost of living to be close to Seattle. Number 11, the scenery is hilly and green and not flat and brown. If you've ever been through the Midwest or you've lived there, including the vast Great Plains in the middle of the country, you can see to the end of town from the side of it. That simply isn't the case in Seattle. In fact, you can actually easily get lost because there's hills everywhere and you can't see much past what's in front of you. But that creates for pretty amazing, gorgeous scenery, no matter where you live. This also helps create incredible views of both the majestic mountains, sprawling greenery, or the lakes and oceans that span the horizon in any direction you look. Not to mention the sunsets that Seattle is known for. However, it may not be the best downtown area to learn how to drive a stick shift, but that's not a problem for most people. I may have learned that the hard way. Major hills in the city like Queen Anne, Capitol Hill, Beacon Hill, and West Seattle are just a few examples of this. Number 12 reason is there are no crazy weather patterns or storms in Seattle. So if you think about so many parts of the country where you've got extreme weather like wildfires, droughts, hurricanes, or tornadoes, or just terrible humidity, or big gross bugs or crazy dumpings of snow where no one can get anywhere for days on end, I gotta tell you, living in Seattle just doesn't have any of that. As long as you can cope with, some more cloudy days and a few more drizzly ones, we don't have the worst rainstorms in the country. We're actually ranked the 44th rainiest city if you look at average rainfall throughout the year. It's just more of a constant drizzle in our kind of a rainy months. Number 13, you are super close to Canada and great cruise lines across the Pacific. One great thing is Vancouver, Canada. So if you've ever been to Vancouver, it's extremely fun. It's like having an additional metropolitan city just a couple hours north of Seattle, which is great entertainment, scene right there, and is right on the water with its own sports teams as well, like the Canucks. You are also in the heart of the Seattle port, in Seattle, which has 8 cruise lines heading up to Alaska if you want a different kind of cruise. Number 14, entertainment and finding your niche is pretty easy in Seattle. Whatever your hobby or interests are, you will find someone who shares your vibe in town. That's just what Seattle is known for, being unique. Whether it's intramural adult sports leagues, painting, dating with other singles, bar hopping, sewing, or book clubs, and even sailing club memberships in a more upscale Seattle scene, you can definitely find a community and expand your horizons to match your needs. And lastly, number 15, Seattle is a secret gem coined the rainiest city in all of the movies. Seattle gets a bad rap for just being rainy and dark and hidden kind of in the corner of the US, but little do people know it is actually sunny for a huge part of the year. Especially since climate change has reared its ugly head, one hidden benefit is that Seattle has gotten increasingly sunny and beautiful, and there are way more clear days and days in the 90s than there ever used to be. In fact, in an article from 2022 looking at the past 175 years, there have been over 246 days over 90 degrees, and over 1/3 of those days have been just in the last 20 years. So the warm days are definitely changing around here. Further, we have been as impacted by extreme heat like the rest of the country, and science tells us we've slowly gotten warmer, but at a lower rate than the rest of the country. And regarding the rain, Seattle is not among the top rainiest cities in the country, like I've kind of said. And because we're so far north, our sunny days are really long because the sun is up longer during the best part of the year, which is April all the way through October lately. So we have over 200 plus days of sun a year. But let's just keep that secret between you and me, okay? We don't need more demand further driving up our real estate prices. So that's all I have today for my top 15 reasons to move to Seattle. I hope you check out some of my other videos detailing nearby suburbs in my vlogs, map videos if you're really serious, and the pros and cons about some of my favorite suburbs so that you can get to know other options outside of downtown Seattle. Either way, I hope you learned some things and I debunked some myths about Seattle today. Definitely subscribe to stay up to date on the real estate market, especially on the east side of Seattle. As always, I hope to see you around town, but if not, take it easy and I can't wait to meet you and your crew when you're ready for me. See you later.